Have you ever stopped and asked yourself a simple question? Why do some people completely transform their lives while others stay stuck in the same place year after year?
Yeah.
The answer isn't talent, it's not luck, and it's certainly not about having more opportunities. The answer lies in the most powerful force you possess, your mind. Every achievement, every success, every breakthrough begins with a thought. Before you can change your circumstances, you must first change the way you think. Because the life you live on the outside is often a reflection of the conversations happening inside your head. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against the world around you. It's against the doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs within you. And here's the good news. If your mind created the barriers, your mind can also break them. Today, we're going to explore how to master your mind, take control of your thoughts, and unlock a version of yourself that is stronger, more focused, and more capable than you ever imagined. Because when you learn to lead your mind, you begin to lead your life. This is how to master your mind and transform your life. Every action you take begins with a thought. Every decision you make, every habit you build, every goal you pursue, and every result you experience can often be traced back to what is happening inside your mind, long before success becomes visible in the outside world. It is created in the invisible world of thought. This is why learning to control your thoughts is one of the most important skills you can ever develop. If you can control what happens in your mind, you can influence what happens in your life. Many people spend years trying to change their circumstances without realizing that their circumstances are often connected to their thinking patterns. They focus on changing jobs, changing environments, changing relationships, or changing routines, but they never take the time to examine the thoughts that guide their actions every single day. The mind acts like a filter through which you experience reality. If that filter is filled with doubt, fear, negativity, and limiting beliefs, then even great opportunities can appear impossible. If that filter is filled with confidence, optimism, and purpose, challenges begin to look like opportunities for growth. The human mind is incredibly powerful. It can become your greatest ally or your greatest obstacle. Every day, thousands of thoughts pass through your mind. Some encourage you, some discourage you, some inspire you, and some hold you back. The difference between people who move forward and those who remain stuck is often not intelligence, talent, or resources. The difference is which thoughts they choose to believe and act upon. Imagine waking up every morning with thoughts that tell you that you are not capable, not talented enough, not experienced enough, and not deserving of success. Those thoughts will influence your energy, your confidence, and your actions. You may hesitate when opportunities appear. You may avoid challenges because failure seems too frightening. You may settle for less than you deserve because your mind has convinced you that greater things are out of reach. Now imagine waking up with thoughts that remind you that growth is possible, that mistakes are lessons, that effort creates improvement, and that every challenge contains an opportunity to learn. The circumstances around you may be exactly the same, but your response to them becomes completely different. You take action with confidence. You embrace learning instead of fearing failure. You move forward even when the outcome is uncertain. This is why controlling your thoughts does not mean pretending that problems do not exist. It means choosing thoughts that help you respond to problems effectively. Life will always present obstacles. Difficult moments are unavoidable. Setbacks happen to everyone. The question is not whether challenges will appear. The question is how your mind will interpret them when they do. Some people see obstacles as evidence that they should quit. Others see obstacles as evidence that they are growing. Some people view failure as proof of weakness. Others view failure as feedback that helps them improve. The event may be identical, but the meaning assigned to that event creates entirely different outcomes. Your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions influence your behavior. When you repeatedly think thoughts filled with fear, your confidence decreases. When confidence decreases, action becomes more difficult. When action becomes more difficult, progress slows down. Eventually, the lack of progress appears to confirm the negative thoughts that started the cycle. The opposite is also true. When you fill your mind with empowering thoughts, your belief in yourself grows stronger. Stronger belief leads to greater action. Greater action creates better results. Better results reinforce positive thinking. Over time, this creates momentum that can transform every area of your life. One of the most important things to understand is that not every thought deserves your attention. Many people assume that because a thought appears in their mind, it must be true. That is not the case. Thoughts are suggestions, not facts. A thought that says, "I can't do this," is not a prediction of the future. It is simply a mental statement that can be questioned, challenged, and replaced. Successful people are not individuals who never experience negative thoughts. They experience them just like everyone else. The difference is that they do not automatically surrender to them. They recognize negative thinking, examine it, and choose a more productive perspective. They understand that the quality of their life depends heavily on the quality of their thinking. Your environment can influence your thoughts, but it does not have to control them. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, and the conversations you engage in all affect your mindset. This is why it is important to be intentional about what enters your mind. Just as healthy food nourishes the body, healthy ideas nourish the mind. The information you consume daily becomes part of the mental foundation from which you think, decide, and act. Control over your thoughts is not achieved in a single day. It is developed through consistent awareness and practice. It begins with noticing what you are thinking and asking whether those thoughts are helping you become the person you want to be. Every time you replace doubt with determination, fear with courage, or excuses with responsibility, you strengthen your ability to direct your mind instead of being controlled by it. The direction of your life is often determined by the direction of your thoughts. When you learn to focus on possibilities instead of limitations, solutions instead of excuses, and growth instead of fear, and action instead of hesitation, you begin to unlock levels of potential that may have been hidden for years. The mind becomes a source of strength rather than a source of resistance. Your choices become more intentional. Your habits become more aligned with your goals. Your actions become more consistent with the future you want to create. One of the biggest obstacles standing between where you are and where you want to be is not a lack of talent, resources, intelligence, or opportunity. It is the set of beliefs you carry about yourself. These beliefs operate quietly in the background of your mind, influencing your decisions, shaping your actions, and determining how much of your potential you are willing to explore. Many people spend their entire lives limited not by reality, but by stories they have accepted as truth. Limiting beliefs are assumptions that convince you that something is impossible, unavailable, or beyond your capability. They often sound like simple statements. "I'm not smart enough. I'm too old to start. I don't have what it takes. Successful people are different from me," or "I've always been this way." These thoughts may seem harmless at first, but when repeated often enough, they become mental barriers that influence every area of life. The danger of limiting beliefs is that they rarely announce themselves as beliefs. They present themselves as facts. Over time, you stop questioning them. You stop examining them. You simply accept them as reality. Once that happens, your actions begin to align with those beliefs. If you believe you are incapable of success, you may avoid opportunities that could prove otherwise. If you believe you are not good enough, you may hesitate to pursue goals that challenge you. If you believe failure is something to fear, you may never take the risks necessary for growth. Many limiting beliefs are formed early in life. They can come from childhood experiences, criticism, disappointments, failures, or the opinions of others. Sometimes a single negative experience creates a belief that lasts for years. A person may fail at something once and conclude that they are incapable. They may face rejection and decide they are unworthy. They may hear negative comments repeatedly and begin to view those comments as part of their identity. The problem is that experiences are temporary, but beliefs often become permanent. A single setback can create a story that continues to influence decisions long after the event itself has passed. What started as one moment becomes a lifelong limitation. Instead of seeing failure as an event, people begin to see it as who they are. The truth is that your past experiences do not define your future potential. Every successful person has faced obstacles, mistakes, disappointments, and moments of doubt. The difference is that they refuse to allow those experiences to become permanent definitions of themselves. They understood that failure is not proof of inability. It is part of the learning process. Every skill achievement and breakthrough requires growth, and growth always involves mistakes. Breaking free from limiting beliefs begins with awareness. You cannot change a belief that you do not recognize. This requires paying attention to the thoughts that appear when you face challenges. Whenever you hear yourself saying, "I can't," "I never will," or I'm not the kind of person who can do that. Pause and examine the belief behind the statement. Ask yourself whether that belief is actually true or whether it is simply a story you have repeated for so long that it feels true. Many beliefs collapse when they are challenged honestly. Consider how often people underestimate their abilities because of assumptions rather than evidence. They focus on reasons they might fail instead of reasons they might succeed. They collect proof that supports their limitations while ignoring evidence of their strengths. The mind naturally searches for confirmation of what it already believes. If you believe you are incapable, your mind will notice every mistake and overlook every success. If you believe you can improve, your mind will begin looking for opportunities to learn and grow. This is why changing beliefs is so powerful. It changes what you notice, what you focus on, and ultimately what actions you take. Growth requires replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. This does not mean convincing yourself that success will happen automatically. It means adopting beliefs that encourage progress rather than prevent it. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," you begin saying, "I can learn this." Instead of believing that your abilities are fixed, you recognize that skills can be developed through effort and practice. Instead of viewing challenges as threats, you start seeing them as opportunities to grow stronger. The most transformative belief you can develop is the belief that improvement is always possible. When you believe you can grow, every setback becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes a training ground. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to develop new strengths. You stop measuring yourself solely by current results and start focusing on progress. Confidence is not something people are born with. It is built through action. Many people wait until they feel confident before they act, but confidence often comes after action, not before it. When you take small steps despite uncertainty, you gather evidence that you are more capable than you previously believed. Each action weakens limiting beliefs and strengthens empowering ones. Your identity is also shaped by the beliefs you repeat daily. If you constantly describe yourself in negative terms, your behavior will begin to reflect those descriptions. If you repeatedly remind yourself that you are capable of learning, adapting, and improving, your actions will begin to support that identity. The words you use when talking to yourself matter because they influence the image you hold of who you are. The people around you can either reinforce limiting beliefs or help you overcome them. Some individuals encourage growth, challenge excuses, and remind you of your potential. Others reinforce doubt and fear. This is why it is important to surround yourself with people who believe in growth, possibility, and continuous improvement. The environment you create around yourself plays a significant role in the beliefs you develop and maintain. Every breakthrough begins when someone decides that their current limitations are not permanent. Every achievement starts with the willingness to challenge old assumptions and embrace new possibilities. The moment you stop defining yourself by your fears, past failures, or perceived weaknesses, you create space for growth. The walls that once seemed impossible to overcome begin to reveal themselves as barriers built by belief rather than reality. The potential that was always present starts to emerge because the limitations that once held it back no longer have the same power over your decisions, your actions, and your vision of what is possible. Success is often misunderstood. Many people believe that successful individuals are simply more talented, more motivated, or naturally gifted with extraordinary abilities. They assume that achievement is the result of luck, intelligence, or special circumstances. While these factors can play a role, there is one quality that consistently separates those who reach their goals from those who repeatedly fall short: self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you do not feel like doing it. It is the power to stay committed to your goals despite distractions, discomfort, and temporary setbacks. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure, progress over excuses, and responsibility over convenience. While motivation comes and goes, self-discipline remains. Motivation is an emotion. Discipline is a decision. Many people wait for the perfect mood before taking action. They tell themselves they will start when they feel inspired, confident, or energized. The problem is that emotions are unpredictable. Some days you feel motivated, and some days you do not. If your progress depends entirely on how you feel, your results will always be inconsistent. Self-discipline allows you to continue moving forward regardless of your emotional state. Consider the difference between a person who exercises only when they feel motivated and a person who exercises because they have committed to doing it. The first individual may perform well occasionally but struggle with consistency. The second person develops a habit that produces results over time. Success is rarely the result of one extraordinary action. It is usually the outcome of small, disciplined actions repeated consistently over long periods. The challenge with discipline is that it often requires doing things that are uncomfortable. Human nature naturally seeks comfort, pleasure, and immediate rewards. Discipline requires resisting those impulses when they conflict with your goals. It means studying when entertainment is more appealing. It means waking up early when staying in bed feels easier. It means continuing to work when distractions are competing for your attention. Every meaningful achievement demands sacrifice. There is always a price to pay for growth. The person who wants better health must sacrifice unhealthy habits. The person who wants financial success must sacrifice unnecessary spending and develop responsible habits. The person who wants mastery in a skill must sacrifice time, energy, and comfort in order to practice consistently. Discipline is what allows you to make those sacrifices willingly because you understand the value of what you are working toward. One reason many people struggle with discipline is that they focus too much on immediate discomfort and not enough on future rewards. They see the effort required today, but fail to connect it with the results it can produce tomorrow. Discipline becomes easier when you remember that every action is shaping your future. Every choice matters. Every decision either moves you closer to your goals or further away from them. The strongest form of discipline is not forced behavior. It is self-leadership. It is the ability to make decisions based on your values and goals rather than your temporary emotions. It means becoming the kind of person who follows through on commitments even when no one is watching. True discipline is not about external pressure. It comes from an internal decision to hold yourself to a higher standard. Discipline also builds trust in yourself. Every time you make a promise and keep it, you strengthen your confidence. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you prove to yourself that your words have meaning. Over time, this creates a powerful sense of self-respect. You begin to see yourself as someone who can be counted on, someone who does not quit when things become difficult. Many people underestimate the importance of small actions. They believe discipline only matters when facing major decisions. In reality, discipline is built through everyday choices. It is choosing to focus when distractions appear. It is managing your time wisely. It is staying consistent with healthy habits. These small moments may seem insignificant, but they accumulate over time and create remarkable results. The habits you practice daily become the foundation of your future. A disciplined person understands that success is not created in a single moment. It is created through routines, standards, and repeated behaviors. The quality of your habits often determines the quality of your life. If your habits support your goals, progress becomes more natural. If your